The couple died in a coup. Empress Zhen of Shizong Yelu Ruan. Zhen was the only Han Chinese empress in the Liao dynasty. She was initially a courtesan of the later Tang dynasty. In 946 AD, Liao Emperor Yelu Diguan conquered Liang present-day Kaifeng, Henan province, and annihilated the later Jin dynasty. Zhen was already 41 years old, but she still had her charm. Yelu Ruan, the eldest son of Emperor Wang Tu, met Zhen when he accompanied Yelu Diguan into Daliang. Although Yelu Ruan was 10 years younger than Zhen, he fell in love with her at first sight, and couldn't wait to snatch her to his side, doting on her. Yelu Diguan died on the way out of the army the following year. Yelu Ruan took the throne as Emperor Shizong of Liao with the support of all the generals and immediately crowned Zhen as Empress. She later gave birth to Yelu Ruan's third son, named Jumu, whose name was Wolu Xuan. As Yelu Ruan was greatly influenced by his father, Tu Xuan, the Han feudal culture is highly admired. Zhen's temperament and elegant, and the Khitan nomadic women's very different styles and demeanor were dignified, elegant, and dealt with the strict, internal governance iterative, although the Empress, not to use the opportunity to seek personal gain. All this, naturally, deeply impressed Yelu Ruan's feelings. Respect and love, favor and treatment is very thick. Although Zhen's birth is only visionary, Yelu Ruan, every significant event, always likes to discuss with her. After he acceded to the throne, Yelu Ruan consolidated his position, and won the people's hearts by combating the forces of Shu Riping and Li Hu, rewarding worthy officials, and strengthening the central authority of the Liao dynasty by setting up the Northern Privy Council. However, there were many internal conflicts in the Liao society. For example, there were sharp differences over who should hold the supreme power, whether to maintain slavery in all fields or to accelerate the feudalization process, whether to reuse the Upper Han Chinese who had returned to the Liao or not, and whether to continue the struggle for the Central Plains or not. Influenced by his deceased father Tushu's advocacy of total Sinicization, Yelu Ruan generally represented the tendency to fight for the Central Plains, to reuse Han Chinese upper class figures, and to adopt as many feudal elements as possible. For this reason, he freed several enslaved people, appointed many Han officials, brought back from the later Jin dynasty to essential positions, suppressed the tribal chiefs, and launched several attacks on the later Han and later Zhou, all of which aroused the opposition of a considerable portion of the Khitan nobles. From the second year of his reign, rebellions of neighboring tribes against the court and the nobles continued one after another. Liao Shizong Yelu Ruan's appointment of Zhen, a Han courtesan, as some nobles must have criticized his queen. They were dissatisfied with Yelu Ruan's disruption of the traditional practice of intermarriage between clans in Khitan society, and demanded that he appoint another Khitan woman as his queen. Yelu Ruan was pressured to keep the status of Empress Zhen. Still, in the fourth year of Tianlu 950, he appointed his former consort, Xie Al-Saji, as Empress, thus creating a strange phenomenon of two empresses still existing. In the second year of the Tianlu reign 949, Xiao Han and Yelu Duan, who had initially supported Yelu Ruan, attempted to rebel against him but were suppressed by Yelu Ruan. Duan's son, Chash, gained Yelu Ruan's trust by exposing his father's sins. Chash was obedient and honest on the surface, but behind his back, he was actively planning a rebellion to seize the throne. Minister Yelu Yaqi warned Yelu Ruan several times about Chash's conspiracy, but Yelu Ruan was unconvinced, saying, "Chash serves me with his father's help. How can he have any different intention?" Instead of ignoring the growing internal conflicts, he rashly tried to attack the Central Plains again, which finally led to a fatal disaster. Unfortunately, some of Zhen's correct opinions, such as opposing the attack and plunder of the Central Plains, were not seriously adopted by Yelu Ruan. In the fifth year of Tianlu 951, Liu Chong, who had just established the later Han dynasty, claimed his nephew to the Liao dynasty and asked for support to attack the later Zhou dynasty. Yelu Ruan, thinking that there was an opportunity to take advantage of this, ignored Zhen's advice and the opposition of his generals and forced himself to lead the troops southward, accompanied by his biological mother, Xiao, as well as Zhen and Xiaosagwe's consorts. When he arrived at Xianbu Mountain in Huaihua Prefecture, present-day Xuanhua, Hebei Province, Yelu Ruan hosted a banquet in his palace to honor his father, Tiyushu, and he and his ministers got so drunk that they fell asleep. In the evening of the same day, the long-planned rebellion was started by Tsa Qi, together with Yelu Bundu and Yelu Langwu. They led their troops into the palace tent and killed Yelu Ruan and Yan in their sleep. Later, Xiaosagwe only was also killed. In 969 AD, after Yelu Ruan's second son, Liao Jingzong Yelu Xian took the throne, he buried Zhen and Xiaosag only in the mythical Wulu Mountain and built a temple to worship her. However, Zhen has yet to receive a posthumous title.